Hi, this is Alex from PHP Academy and welcome to this CSS tutorial on Z indexes. Now we're going to be looking at the Z index property, what it is, what kind of values we can set to it and how we should use it, and obviously we're going to look at an example as well. So what is Z index or Z index? Well, when we create different elements in CSS, they have a natural stack order. So for example, if we were to create two elements, and we were to have, say, one here, so I could say div class equals box. I'll go ahead and duplicate that. Let's just place some content in here. So we'll just say box 1 and box 2. Let's go ahead and style this box class. You can see that I've got the style sheet linked in here. I'm just going to add some basic properties to this. So I'll give it a width of, say, 200 pixels and a height of 200 pixels. And let's create a variant for this box. We'll say box dark, and then we'll say background color hash AAA. And for a normal box, we'll just give it a background of CCC. So we've got a slightly lighter grey colour. If this doesn't make sense to you, this hopefully should. Dark. So what we've got is we've got box, which has a width and a height of 200. So both of these elements will have a width and a height of 200. And then we've got this additional element dark. This essentially means a class of box and a class of dark. So we've got box.dark. A space in the middle would mean an element with a class of dark within box. So we want box and dark, and that will set a background color of AAA. So when we take a look at the preview here, we've got two boxes, one with a light grey background and one with a dark grey background. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting the position of these boxes to absolute, and that's going to allow us to sort of more granularly specify, if that's a word, the position of these elements from the page. And because we don't have any outer container elements except for just body, this is essentially going to put them on top of each other. So if I say position absolute, this places the stacking order naturally with the second element on the top. So the lighter grey element, or the lighter grey box, is behind this. If I go ahead and inspect this and I say delete it here, you can see that this reveals the lighter box as well. Now let's go ahead and slightly offset this dark box. So I'm going to say left 100 pixels. Ooh, 100 pixels. So what that's going to do is that is going to push the second box, so the darker box, 100 pixels from the left of the body. Okay, so now let's take a look at Z index, and I want to bring the lighter box to the front, okay, or the darker box to the back. You can look at it either way. Let's just go ahead and say box.light. Let's go ahead and take this property here and paste that into there. That's probably makes a lot more sense, and it's going to give us the opportunity to style the light and the dark boxes individually. So I'll just say light. So nothing has changed here at all. We get exactly the same result here, except we've got box light and box dark. Now I want to place box light in front of box dark. So how can I go ahead and do this? Well, there's no strict rules of how you set Z indexes. If you want an element to appear at the very top, usually people use a value of 9999. If you ever see Z index 9999, that probably means that there aren't a lot of other elements on a page and someone just wants that element to be absolutely positioned on the top of the stack, or the most visible. So let's go ahead and make this box behind here, this lighter box element, in front of this darker box. Now I'm going to use the Z index property, or the Z index property, and I'm just going to set this to 9999. Okay, and you'll notice that when I go ahead and refresh, this immediately comes to the front of the stack. Now the reason for this is that the box dark has a lower Z index than 9999. And obviously Z means the depth, if you like, of the position. We have the x-axis, we have the y-axis, and then we have the z index. We don't have a Z axis because we can't really. Everything's 2D in our browser. So we set a Z index of 9999. Let's go ahead and do a few tests just to see where this dark box is in terms of a Z index. Let's go ahead and choose 1 and refresh. You can automatically see now that this is still in front. Again, if I was to say with the dark box, if I was to set a Z index to 2, it's natural to assume that this comes in front of this again, and you would be right. You can see that that's come in front of that again. So if you had lots of elements on a page that and you wanted to control the stack that they were positioned in, or displayed in, or visible in even, then Z-index is the property that you need to use. It's probably worthwhile keeping a track of these. Let's say you had 2 elements that you wanted to display above everything else. You could, it's perfectly acceptable to choose something like 9998 and 9999. And obviously the dark box would then come in front of the lighter box. But this could obviously be vice versa. You could have 9998 for the dark, and that would obviously bring that behind. Now, one other thing to note is the order in which the elements are rendered on the page. If, for example, I was to take this dark box and place it before the light box in my markup, we automatically... let's go ahead and get rid of the Z indexes, or Z indexes. We automatically have this rendered. This is the lighter box is displayed on top of the darker box. If we were to go ahead and place this afterwards again without the markup, I've just removed the markup, the Z index markup style. Sorry. When we refresh, you see that the darker box is now on top. And you'll also notice that this is the last element that I've used. So we can control it like this, or if we don't have such control over the markup for semantic reasons, anything like that, then we can go ahead and use Z-index, which is obviously the most appropriate way to deal with the visible stack. So that's Z-index or Z-index in CSS.